How do I bring up interest in sex in an actual relationship? Don't be afraid to take the lead and see how they respond. When talking to girls online that I actually like, I'm very hesitant to bring up sexual things for fear of making them think I'm one of the weirdos, or only chatting for a hookup. You're missing the important space between talking normally and sex, flirting. It's a skill that takes practice, so get to failing so you can one day succeed. Always remember two words, consent and no. You're going to have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, as paradoxical as that sounds. Euphemisms may help, but sometimes you just really need to be direct and say exactly what you mean. Think about what your actual wants, needs, and boundaries are, and then communicate them clearly. Most of the time, "I'm very interested in you" will get the point across, but sometimes the conversation goes, "Hey, you want to? Want to what? Fuck. Yes, please." When the vibe is right, and you feel like you're on the same page, just try saying, "Hey, can I kiss you?" I think a lot of men really appreciate this, and you're asking for consent and signaling that you want the interaction to be more intimate, romantic, sexy, and less platonic. Also, if he says no, it's no big deal. It's just a kiss. But if he says yes, that's a nice gentle way to open the door to something potentially more physical. The first thing is to understand that sometimes things won't quite match up. You clearly have a lot of anxiety about coming off in a way that's unappealing or praised, but some people are more receptive to bold approaches, and others can be more shy or conservative about it. And that's not even counting people who might like a bold approach, but have absolutely no idea how to respond in kind. Ironically, you might not be the only one anxious about what to say or do in that situation. Try to maybe find ways to test the waters, one layer at a time. First, you want to see whether you have a good rapport flirting with someone in a non-sexual context, and if they seem to be flirting back with you. If they are, then using some veiled double meanings to hint at sexual matters, and seeing if they respond. Eventually the subtle hints and teasings end up getting, well, a lot less subtle. XP. Again, though, no approach is going to work for absolutely everyone. If they don't seem to be picking up what you're putting down, they might just not want to explore that facet of things with you. But even then, it can still be a learning experience for next time. Male here. I never turn things sexual until we at least have an initial meeting. Sometimes we naturally move into sexual stuff, other times I just outright say something to the effect of, "Hey, I find you really attractive and I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I think about sex a lot and I want to know if it's okay if we talk about sex a little." It's worked every single time. Shortly after that, we're talking about kinks and things get really physical. Start off by asking them what they are into and don't make it about you, BC, then it comes off selfish. But you gotta rip the band-aid, and it's a convo that you should make normal to talk about. It's a good thing, don't be ashamed of who you are. Men are terrified of giving women the ick or ending up in a viral tweet. I have no idea what you're afraid of, OP, as the vast majority of men would greatly appreciate you being straightforward and letting them know you're not interested in hookups, but want to talk sexual compatibility early on. They're not going to think you're a lunatic, they're most likely going to find you even hotter for doing this. I'm pretty much the same but way worse, as I could talk to you plenty on various subjects, but when it's about going from someone you know to someone you are intimate with, I pretty much shut down, anxiety that spills into panic attack. You at least meet people and have relationships. I would assume that should be easier because you're already with someone you feel comfortable to open up. Also, I'm pretty sure the chances you think more about sex than him are pretty slim. I'm not saying there are not any exceptions, just that is very rare, so I wouldn't put money on that it's that kind of situation. I am personally terrible socially. I am the kind of guy who will not quickly bring up sexual stuff, mainly 'cause in my head I don't want to come off as a creep. The way I have done it in the past is probably not as tactful as other suggestions you may have down here, but it is the way I am most comfortable. When the topic of discussion is about a topic somewhat related to intimacy of any kind, before the subject changes, I just say, by the way, and lead the topic to where I want it to go. Usually start very surface level regarding sex and then just see where the conversation goes. It's not very tactful or subtle, but this way is most comfortable for me. I reckon it's just compatible with my personality. While this is what I would do, I encourage you to think about what approach feels most natural, or simply least uncomfortable for you. If the guy cares about you and is likewise interested in sex, the most likely result of any way you bring this up is brief awkwardness at the start of the conversation and then a passing. We are often really harsh on ourselves or focus on the worst possible outcome about things we are nervous about, but these outcomes are usually quite unlikely. Good luck. Half-decent guys are either totally useless with women because they lack the experience or really good at reading signals. Too good. Often nicer guys have actually had their own relational or childhood trauma, whether they know it or not, so they operate a lot like you do and feel when there's unsafe energy. I guarantee they're picking up on your energy vibe anxiety and taking it as a sign you're not interested, or that, even worse, they make you feel unsafe, and they're not going to risk a situation where they make it worse. You need to find a way to chill, whether that's a drink or two to take the edge off, not drunk. If you trust the person, or someone you can talk about this with, a good supportive person would be all ears. I know that I personally would really appreciate this conversation, but wouldn't bring it up for the above reasons. Your actions told me sex is off the table, so why would I pressure you? R.I.P. to your DM notifications. Innuendo. It's your friend. And don't worry about being too GOAA. Saying something dumb like, I need a plumber to come clean my pipes, is still 10x better than, let's fuck. I hope you locked your DMs, you have just summoned the whore lady. Don't watch porn. Nice guys like sex. Gnash your teeth, take a breath, and let them know you're interested. Guys *** pretending to be nice *** like girls too embarrassed to talk about sex. It makes it very easy to manipulate them and cross boundaries that are so far outside your comfort zone that it never crossed your mind to verbalize the boundary. Be frank. Be sincere. Honor your own level of comfort. That's how to engage with the kind of guys that will stop as soon as they hear stop. These are the kind of dudes that will listen when you want to show them how you like to be touched instead of getting pissy because they know what they are doing. This reminds me of a study I heard of on YouTube. When women ask men for sex, 75% of the time, men say yes. When men ask women for sex, 0% of the time, women say yes. Thus, women should be making the first move. Do you crave my ham wallet for the sexing? It has juice. It'd find a pervert. Someone who is more in tune with their sexual side. How hard is it to be nice and a gentleman and then turn the freak switch on? Not very hard, but I have been trying to stimulate my partners and be the breath of fresh air. I think anyone who has dated me has established early on that I am nice and I want to have extra fun with them.